Hello, this is Richard Simpo Tuts, and today I'm bringing you a tutorial in Blender 3D. Firstly, if you don't have Blender, there'll be a link in the video description, but you need to go to the website www.blender.org and go to the download section and download the one for your operating system. So, first of all, today I'm just going to take you through some of the basics of Blender. So, first of all, we are going to learn how to add some 3D objects. So when you start off, you will have this default cube in the center of the screen. What we want to do is delete that for now. So press the delete key on your keyboard and press erase selected objects. Now we want to press spacebar, go to add, then mesh, and then these are the main shapes. So I am going to pick a UV sphere with 32 segments. And then on the keyboard I'm going to press the S key, and this will allow me to scale up and down. The rotate key, the R key, allows me to rotate, and G stands for grab, and that allows me to grab and move the model freely. Okay, so once you've created your first shape, I'm going to scale this one down a bit. I want to go to spacebar, add, mesh, and cube. Drag this one with the G key over there. Add another mesh. We'll go with a isosphere with subdivision of 3. Okay, that one tends to be a lot more blocky. So I'm just going to zoom in, and you can do this by rolling your middle mouse button wheel up and down. And to move, if we hold shift, click down our middle mouse button, we can then pan around. Or if we hold alt and the middle mouse button down, it allows us to rotate. Now we've messed our view up a bit, so if we want to change it back, you can use the numpad keys. But I'm going to go to the view menu and select top. So we're back to normal. You will notice also in Blender, any object that is selected has a pink outline. So if I go ahead and right click on the cube, that will get selected. You always right click in Blender to select. If you left click, this target here moves, and I like to keep mine central. So every right click selects a different object. So if I go into view and front view, you can see our shapes there. View and camera gives us the position that we will see in the render. So let's go ahead and render this current frame. There you go. So that's the kind of view we get. So if we press A on the keyboard, that selects and deselects all. So let's go ahead and let's do something a bit more advanced now. Let's go to view, front view, and then I am going to go to my cube. So right click on the cube and press the tab key on the keyboard. It's above caps lock, and it should turn pink with a yellow outline. I want to press A so everything goes like pink dots with the bluey background. Then I'm going to press the B key, which allows me to select. Now I'm going to left mouse click and drag over these top 2 points. But in fact it's actually selected all 4, which is good, what we wanted. So back to the front view. I'm going to shift the middle mouse button to move a bit. Now I'm going to press the E key, click on region, and push up, and this is what's called extrusion, and it's basically added 4 more points. So now we can scale, and then if we go back to front view and extrude again, we have this different shape which kind of looks like a barbecue, I suppose, one of those chimney barbecues. Front view. Might want to add a colour to this, so we go down here to the shading panel or materials, press F5 on the keyboard, and then we want to be on this one here, material buttons, and we want to click add new. This new complicated window opens up. It might be a bit scary at first. By the way that I moved the full panel then was middle mouse clicking in here allows me to move across. So where this grey colour is, that's the colour of the object, so I'm going to click here and make mine a aqua colour. There we go. Same with the sphere, right click the sphere, click add new and choose a different colour. Let's go for a blue. Right click on this sphere, add new and choose a different colour. Okay, then I am going to render this. Now my render window's too big, so half of it ends up going off the screen. So I can change the size of this by going over to this button here, scene, or by pressing F10. Then in this panel here you will have format on the far right. Under size on the X I'm going to type in 320, and then in the size by Y I'm going to type 240. So now when I render, the window will be smaller and I can drag it in so everyone can see it easier. Okay, so now I've got my objects. You can see they don't properly fit in the camera. I could move the camera around, but that's a little tricky, so I'm going to move everything else. So I'm going to right click on my cube, hold shift and right click on my other two objects while holding shift down, and then I'm going to drag on the red arrow and the green. But you can see everything outside this outer dashed line will not show up in the render. So I can easily fix this by pressing S and pushing inwards, and this will scale the model down until everything is in that line. So now when I render, you will get everything in the render properly. You might see the shadows on the side that we're rendering as well, which isn't very good. And this is because if we go into top view, our camera is over here, but our light is over at the back. So all the light is coming in from this side, and we want it to come in from this side. So right click on the light and drag along the y-axis, which is a green arrow, and maybe use a red arrow if you want, depending on which way you want these shadows to be projected. Let's render the current frame again, and it's a lot lighter now. I'm not too keen on it hovering in space, so I'm going to go ahead and add a floor to this. So press A to deselect everything, press spacebar, add mesh, and just add a basic plane. Now we need to scale this right up. Okay, let's go into the camera view. You can see it's kind of covering, but it's not covering everywhere, so we can keep scaling until it covers the whole camera port, like that. Okay, but you will see our objects are kind of hanging through, so I'm just going to move my plane down to there until all the objects are below the plane. Then if we go back to camera view and render, there we go, we've got a floor. It's kind of got a gradient going on because of the light, so it looks pretty nice for some basic lighting. So that's my first Blender tutorial. I will probably be doing another one very soon, getting into maybe textures. Going to be getting into, say, turning off specular, which is a shine on these objects here, and also better lighting, easy, probably some radiosity too in Blender. So that concludes this tutorial, and thanks for watching.